Today's reading video is really specific because what I'm getting is there is someone coming through here who is in a lot of regret at the moment. And I'm getting the phrase caught between timelines. This seems to be a person who has found themselves at a crossroads of sorts where they are caught between two different paths. And I'm getting that you can actually sense this psychically and intuitively from this person as well. Not only because you yourself are very intuitive, although that does seem to be the case, but also because you and this person are connected in such a way that there is very strong energetic transference between the two of you, or what other people may refer to as telepathy. And I feel as though you've been feeling this telepathic bond very strongly with this person from the beginning. It seems like there was a moment where that bond was activated in a really strong way. And specifically, I'm getting this may have been, I'm hearing the words eye lock. So this may have been in a moment where the two of you locked eyes because, of course, the eyes are the windows to the soul. And there's a lot of truth in that because our eyes have the ability to transmit the core frequency of our soul, amongst other things, of course, including our voice and many other things as well. But the eyes can act as a pretty direct energetic transfer. You can really often read someone's soul energy through their eyes. And so in this instance, when you and this person locked eyes, you both recognized some kind of similarity at a soul level. And what I'm getting as well is I'm seeing something about polar opposites and yet being the same. And what I'm getting is the person coming up here is someone who is, I'm hearing you are more so the muse here. That's how you seem to be coming up in the energy. You have this ability to naturally inspire others. And I'm actually hearing that whether you realize it or not, something about you, your soul essence, or you generally, has actually inspired art. It's inspired creativity. I'm specifically picking up that artistic types, creative types, tend to be really drawn to you. And again, I'm seeing you almost like this immortalized muse sort of figure. I'm actually seeing one of those ancient statues, and I'm getting, in many cases, the memory of encountering you almost becomes, especially to these creative types, like this statue that's been frozen in time, but stuck on some kind of pedestal that is inspiring art forth from them. And so I'm hearing something about your existence. It's almost like a moving, living, breathing work of art in itself. But the ironic thing about you is, while that is true, you are also someone who does not ask to be validated, or who even doesn't really ask to be seen. In fact, I'm picking up that you are someone who may have very often avoided the spotlight or the limelight. You may have even been someone who was more introverted growing up. For the collective I'm speaking to here, I'm just getting something about how you've never really sought out the spotlight. You've never really sought out positions of leadership or positions of public visibility or being elevated. But what I'm getting really strongly as a message from your personal guides, and this is kind of taking us away from the core of the message, which I feel actually involves how you've affected this other person, but I feel this isn't so much a detour as like a necessary laying of a foundation before we get into those messages involving this other person. So what I'm getting is you may have, I'm hearing the word silent, you may have spent, again, a lot of your life really deeply in your own mind, not necessarily putting yourself out there in a really visible kind of way, but creating and existing and growing almost in the silence or in the shadows. And I'm getting that you are entering this era of your life, or for some of you, this has already been occurring, and this reading is coming as sort of a message of confirmation to let you know, yes, you are on the right track with all of this. This is as it is meant to be, is what I'm hearing. But what I'm getting is you are noticing that you are beginning to be offered some level of visibility, or you're being offered positions of elevation or leadership, whether this is being promoted in the workplace, whether it's something you're feeling guided to share or create with the world, whether it's, I'm just getting like opportunities are or soon will be handed to you that are much more like positions of leadership in whatever you are involved in, that somehow take the things that you've been creating in the shadows and reveal them. Like it's almost this sort of unveiling taking place. I'm literally seeing a red curtain that's being pulled back. So maybe some of you are performers, or you're going to be on stage or performing, or maybe you've been doing that recently, because the sense I'm getting is like the curtain is being pulled back and it's unveiling you. It's unveiling something that you've been working on and cultivating in the shadows, in the silence for a long time now, whether that's just your own personal essence, like your personal growth and development, or whether it's something literal that you've been training for, or you've been doing or creating. But what I'm getting as well is this person that we seem to be picking up on in the reading, they are almost like coming at this from the opposite angle. Because again, what I'm getting is you are in some sense polar opposites, but you're the same at the core. And you each seem to be offering something that the other has been missing. Not so much missing, but almost like desiring to step into. What I mean by that is, I feel as though I'm hearing you've mastered the spiritual realm and this person has mastered the physical realm. But now, since you've mastered the spiritual realm, since you've mastered working with energy, the process of manifesting, since you've almost been on like this profound spiritual journey that has led you into this level of mastery when it comes to spiritual things, whether you would consider yourself to be a master or not. That's how you're really coming up here. Whereas in contrast, this other person seems to have really mastered the physical realm. I'm hearing this is most likely a person who has a lot of connections or who is very well known. I'm hearing they're very public facing or very front facing. So there's something about them that is highly visible. I'm hearing they feel like they have to be on all the time. So it's almost like this could be someone who is a public figure. This may be someone who is in the public eye in some sense, but in other cases, this is a person who just is very extroverted or has been very social with the people around them, developed a really strong network of social connections, really mastered certain elements of getting along in the physical world. Maybe they've developed some level of widely recognized expertise in their field, or they're very well known in their field or community or something of that nature. So you've mastered the spiritual realm and they've mastered the physical realm, but you've both been seeking some aspect from the opposite world. So what I'm getting is, and I'm hearing this is part of your evolution as a soul and theirs as well. So you, the one who's been on this profound spiritual journey, you've been seeking this unveiling, to unveil yourself to the world in a more powerful way, to step into some kind of greater visibility or awareness, or to share yourself with the world, to connect with the world or with others in a new way. And I'm hearing that you felt this because very often you've gotten this strange urge recently to either start sharing your creations, to put something out there in a way, maybe to be out in public more, to be more visible, to meet new people, to connect with new people. And if you've been feeling some of these urges lately that have almost felt deeply strange and unfamiliar to you because so much of your life has felt the opposite, that could be a powerful sign that this reading is for you. Because again, I feel I'm speaking to a very specific collective here. On this other person's side, I feel as though they've been really seeking, I'm hearing, authentic connection. Because while they've mastered the physical realm and they've learned how to connect, I'm hearing how to get ahead by making connections, how to be well liked by other people, maybe even how to be more public with their work or with their creations. But I feel like there's some level of hollowness beneath that for them. And that deep down, this person is very lonely, because I'm hearing part of them feels like they've lost the soul of what they're doing in this world. They feel like they're taking all the right actions, making all the right connections, that they kind of have those sort of symbols or markers of being either successful or being known in their space, but they feel as though everything about it is deeply hollow for them. And I'm actually getting such a deep loneliness that I would go as far as to say that in many cases, this may be the kind of person who quite literally feels like they have no one in their life who truly understands their soul. And I'm getting so many chills here because what's happened between the two of you is so powerful. Through whatever way you met or interacted consciously, whether it was a brief meeting, whether it was seeing each other, I'm getting in some cases, maybe you didn't meet physically, but you had some kind of shared dream experience that wasn't really a typical unconscious dream, but actually an astral realm meeting. But regardless of how the two of you interacted consciously, I feel as though there was a mutual exchange of energy where you gave this person, I'm hearing, a moment of being so deeply seen. And I can't even find the words to describe it because it's mind-blowing to them. It's like nothing they've ever experienced, but that they were deeply craving. And that's the sense I keep getting, that each of you has something that the other has been craving, but not just because you've been seeking it in connection or seeking it from another person literally, but because it's something you've been looking for within yourself. This person had been lacking that sense of deep, soulful connectedness internally and that authenticity that you bring so naturally to all of your interactions. The word refreshing is coming up here, but I also feel that doesn't even really begin to fully describe just how much it meant to this person that you offered them this gift, however it was transferred to them, however you gave it to them. But in the reverse here, I feel as though this person gave you something as well, because this exchange was mutual. And this is really reminding me of a previous reading I did where we talked about a mutual exchange between you and another person and how you each gave each other a gift. I believe the reading was called "The Ball is in Their Court Now, and They Know It." That was possibly the reading, or at least one of the readings that follows this thread of energy. But what I'm getting is you received something from this person as well. And there's something here about fully coming alive in your human form, because while you had mastered the spiritual realm, I'm getting that on your end of things, in some ways you felt like you were sort of drifting through life or feeling almost a bit apathetic to the physical human experience. All of the things that had been lighting you up mostly had been spiritual topics, conversations, information, because your soul has such a spiritual depth that is so infrequently met in the physical realm, that I feel like you spent a lot of time almost just in those higher dimensions, but never really feeling like you were fully living as a human. But I'm hearing this person gave you that kind of aliveness. You felt some kind of fullness, like a completeness and invigoration in their presence, almost like you were being energized, but in a physical human way, like you were fully here, present in the moment. For some reason, I'm hearing something about like dancing or creating or like playing, or there's something about your inner child even being healed through this, feeling like you could be so playful and present and open, almost in a way that you may not have necessarily been since you were a child. And there's something about this person's presence that seemed to bring that out of you, but also this, it's like they would activate this confidence to reveal that part of yourself, to show that part of yourself to the world. And I'm also hearing to let something breathe. Maybe this is some part of yourself that had been kind of pent up or that had been kept to yourself. And in this person's presence or through your interactions with them, they somehow let some part of you see the light or some part of you breathe. I feel like this could have happened through conversations where you found yourself verbally opening up or sharing parts of you that don't normally get brought to the surface. I'm also hearing curiosity. So this person expressed a deep curiosity in these parts of you, but I'm getting that's also because, again, what they were so craving on their end was that sense of authentic connection. And so it's almost like you both mirrored back to each other some aspect of the opposite realm. In your case, like the human realm, in their case, the spiritual realm that you were craving. But then there was, I'm hearing some kind of sudden shut off or some kind of diversion point where something about that mutual gift was meant to be processed. And this gift has left a really profound impact. I'm getting something about attraction and specifically what you're attracted to and repelled away from. Something about that attraction being recalibrated through connecting with each other. So what I'm hearing is you may have noticed a sudden newfound pull or attraction to certain ideas or certain activities or even certain individuals that you've desired to meet or connect with or spend time with, and then people or things that you felt repelled away from. Maybe this has shifted for you, but I definitely feel it's shifted on this person's end where, and this is shaking up their world, by the way, because there are certain people and things in their life that they used to just cope with, that because you've recalibrated almost like how they feel and perceive attraction and repulsion to not just people, but groups and things and activities. I'm hearing when you feel such a strong magnetic attraction and pull to another person, it automatically recalibrates your entire concept of attraction and repulsion in all areas of your life. And I don't think that's anything I've ever channeled through on this channel before. So that feels like a really powerful message for someone. But that's exactly what seems to have happened here, where there was such a strong pull and attraction between you. Now, in most cases, I'm feeling this did have that romantic element, but that doesn't have to be the case. So only take that if it connects. But regardless, there was this extremely strong pull. And now, since there's been this sudden shut off and diversion, interesting. I meant to say divergence. But what I actually said was diversion, like a distraction. So yes, there's been a divergence, but maybe there's also been a diversion, a distraction of some kind that is no longer working in this person's life. I feel like they did have certain vices or certain diversions, distractions in their life that helped them to cope with I hate to put it in such extreme terms, but it feels like the soullessness of so much of their life, their interactions, their daily living. And I'm getting something about it on the surface. It's very performative. Something about it, surface level, looks glamorous or looks like very high status or desirable on the surface. But beneath the surface, there's a hollowness. And the hollowness is really resounding for this person much more strongly since your paths have diverged from one another. And it's because of that gift energetically we've been describing that they received from you, that gift of being so seen and so authentically connected to. It's something they feel that they really can't even fully describe into words. And now as they're taking that gift that we could also call an activation from you and trying to re-enter that old reality, so many things about that are not working. I'm hearing it feels clunky. It feels restrictive. It feels rigid and cold to them. From some perspective, it was always that way, but they were able to kind of divert or distract themselves from fully realizing that, or maybe even talk themselves out of it because of never having experienced anything else until they've interacted with you. I want to share with you as well that I feel as we've been channeling into this thread of energy, a lot of this has been connecting energetically with a channeled song that I created. I wrote and produced this song, and this is part of a new series, a new project that I am creating where I am going to be channeling into specific stories, themes, collectives, and threads of energy, and taking that and putting it into lyrics and music, and then sharing it across streaming platforms. So I am really excited about this because I feel that sometimes music can reach and touch us in a deeper way than even pure words could. And so I'm excited to use songs, lyrics, and music as a tool to channel through different groups in our collective to really add a kind of new depth and color to some of the stories and messages and things that have been coming through. And at times, maybe even in a more detailed fashion. So just like with these readings, I feel that different songs will resonate and connect with different groups of people. And sometimes maybe just with a very small group or even one person. So I will be starting to create and share those as I feel inspired. And the very first one that I've created is called Go On to New York. And the artist name that I'm releasing these songs under is Songs by Infinity. So you can actually find this song now on both Apple Music and Spotify, and it's still in the process of being released across all streaming platforms, so you can check on that as well, but it should be released across all streaming platforms soon. And this is just a piece of my soul that I'm really excited to share with all of you. I feel that for maybe a specific person or small group listening, this song may actually speak more to your story, especially if New York carries some kind of a connection to your story, which I know I mentioned that in a previous reading and some of you connected with that location-wise. Or if there are themes of one or the other of you being a musician, performer, creative type, being in the spotlight, something of that nature. So if that feels like it may be connecting for you and you'd like to take a listen to the song, I would love for you to hear it and experience it. And again, I will be sharing more of these as I'm feeling guided, as I'm noticing certain themes come up in readings that I'd really like to share in a more kind of specialized, deeper song form. So the link to my Spotify, the Spotify version of the song, will be in the pinned comment and the description box underneath this video. I would love for you to give me a follow there if you do have Spotify, and stay tuned because I will be sharing more of these in the future. I'm really excited to dive deeper into these threads of energy and translate them into more of a lyrical song form in addition to these readings. So with that being said, I am going to jump back into some of the messages, and I want to see what else we can share from this person or from this situation here. So can I share anything else? Okay. This person is beginning to feel a kind of restlessness, and I'm hearing it's a restlessness in the silence. So for many of you listening, I feel as though there's been quiet in this situation. There's definitely been a divergence of your pathways, and I'm hearing the silence has become really loud. Now, on your end, I'm getting in many cases, you've been somewhat detached at this point. You're still aware of the connection, but I'm getting that there's something unique about how you process energy. So there's something coming up here about how for you, when it comes to meeting a new soul connection, having that energy exchange, you tend to feel the weight, the impact of that instantaneously. And of course, the downside of this is it can be temporarily so ungrounding for you because you can feel this immediate, it's almost like it reaches your system faster because we've talked about this before, but you have a very open aura, a very open energy. So you're able to intuitively sense and pick up on things very quickly, process them very quickly, metabolize that energy fast. The downside of that is initially, it can make you feel like you're going crazy because you can feel it so heavily, so intensely. It's like this gigantic wave of energy, right? Whereas often for the other person, and this again makes it even more complicated. I know so many of you will relate to this, but it makes it even more complicated because often when you're feeling that wave of energy, the person you're connected with has more of a closed energetic system. So they may only feel it kind of in a trickle at the beginning. They may just like barely feel it. They experience you as more of a slow burn where it takes time, sometimes weeks, sometimes months, sometimes even years for that energy to fully reach them and like penetrate their heart and for them to realize, wait a second, they gave me something that I wasn't able to recognize at the time, and we shared this really profound bond, and I fumbled it in some way. This is why so many of you in this collective have the experience of people coming back into your life in uncanny ways, sometimes months, sometimes years down the road. Often by the time you've already long ago fully processed that connection, and yes, you're still aware of it, but you've maybe detached from it. Often then the person that you shared that connection with goes through some kind of spiritual awakening or some kind of heart chakra opening. And what's the first thing that they think of? It's you, because you're the one who touched them at the heart space. It's just often before that awakening or before that heart chakra activation that opens their energy. It's like your energy just lingers like with them kind of on the outskirts of their aura until they're able to fully process it. But once they do, they realize just how powerful it is and just how magnetically they feel drawn to you on a soul level, of course, once they're actually consciously connected to their own soul. And I feel the whole reason this is coming up here is because That's what's going on with this person. They are beginning to open in a way, and it's creating this restlessness. And I'm hearing it may be akin to a restlessness that you felt early on connecting with this person, that you may have felt this urgency, like, I need to meet them, I need to connect with them. Well, now they're feeling that on their end. I'm hearing in some cases, believe it or not, it's even stronger than the urgency you felt initially with this person. This might surprise you, especially if this is someone that you've managed to distance from a bit emotionally or managed to detach from. They may come back into your life really when you least expect it at this rate, considering what we're picking up on here in the energy. So although this channeling could probably go on for hours because there are a lot of layers to what's going on here, I am going to close it out here for now. I'm sure we'll tap back into this, and if you do want to stay tuned for future updates on this thread of energy, then of course I would love for you to subscribe to the channel if you're feeling guided to do so. I do also have an Instagram if you want to follow me there. The Instagram handle is at @magnetizeyourself, and I'll leave a link to it below as well. But otherwise, thank you so much for being here. I am so appreciative of this whole community and all of you here. I hope you have an amazing remainder of your day, and I will connect with you here again in the next video.